Dr. BMS viewers, I want to make this as a sequel to the last video I made, which I directed towards Gen Z, and I was advising them about some things that are good to keep in mind when you are looking for a job. And so in that video, I said you should know who you are targeting as an employer, the industry you are targeting. There are some rules of etiquette that go with certain industries. For example, some are very conservative and they focus on, they want the traditional ways of doing things. You write a letter or an email, you don't SMS, you don't call. And today, therefore, as a sequel to the last video, we now want to talk about that time you've bagged that job and you're starting to work, or maybe we can go a little bit behind and start at the interview. You've been called for the interview, you wrote the email, you're called for the interview, and so you are presenting yourself for the interview, and hopefully you get the job. So in this video today, I would like, just like the first one, to share some tidbits about things which I think are important to keep in mind for the young people, because I see this as common mistakes or omissions that they do, which sometimes dim their chances of getting hired or being retained in the job. The first one, just randomly coming to my mind, is keep appearances below performance. Focus on performance more than appearances. Some of the people coming for interviews or being new in the job and reporting the first weeks, months, especially the young people, you get a feeling that they're over focusing on appearances more than the performance. And so when they come, they are presentable, they are well-dressed, presentable, they talk well, they are polite in their mannerisms. But when it comes to the real work, then you find that polished look starting to crumble, and you may ask yourself where the difference is coming from between the appearance and the performance. And sometimes you come to a conclusion that this person was actually doing something, a bit of a rehearsed thing. They were focusing a lot on how they will appear, and they forgot in that preparation to think about how they will perform. So right from the time of the interview to being hired and starting to report for work, think about the real work and focus on it as much, if not more, than the appearance. This may mean that you are open to ask for help, you are open to make a mistake and own up to the mistake and not try to be clever or hash it up, and that you can learn and grow slowly without needing to show like you are super, because that will lead you to making that appearance like you know it all, and that is when mistakes can happen quickly, and that starts to affect your appraisal. Also, while you are at work, you will have to put aside your social life, especially in today's era where social life is intertwined with gadgets like social media and the phones. We also notice a lot of young people who, when they come to work, their social life on social media seems to be part and parcel of their day-to-day activity. So they will work, and a short period, they touch their phone, they want to post something, they want to respond to someone who they are communicating with. Some even updating their status or their story throughout the day. And this eats into the working hours. This sometimes leads them to make mistakes because their concentration is divided between two tasks, and people start to notice a slowness. You may be in a workplace where the culture, people are polite, so they're not going to interrupt you and tell you, hey, what you're doing is not right. But make no mistake that they notice. And when it comes to the time of appraisal or people are giving feedback, you'll be surprised that someone makes that comment or has noticed that you spend a lot of time on your phone doing things that you should not be doing when you are supposed to be at work. So it would be advisable to put your phone aside and focus on your work, except when the phone is necessary for work. In some workplaces, we've got official phones, so you can receive, you can call, and that then allows you to mute your phone or shut your phone if you want and put it aside and concentrate on work. And just open your phone maybe during break time or lunch time or a free moment when you have finished the task at hand. Talking about your social life and gadgets as well, it's also important to mention that even when you are using your phone during your free time, lunch time or break time, or even after work when you go home, it is advisable not to mix your social life in the social media space particularly with your work. This means that you have to be careful to know if the company or the employer is comfortable with you taking pictures of or videos of your workplace and posting in your personal space. Sometimes these videos and pictures have faces of your colleagues, clients, and visitors to the workplace or machinery operations of the workplace. And in some workplaces, the employers or the management considers that to be confidential information. And if you just approach it casually and start clicking away and updating your status because you're comfortable, you're happy, you've gotten a job, then you may find that you are even infringing on copyright information, because this photo you are sending may just hold the secret why this company is the best in this work, and their competitors will just come to your line or to your space on social media, your page, and take that information. So you can stand accused of divulging confidential information because you became too free in the workplace and started mixing your social life on social media with your work life. So it's something that young people particularly need to be cautioned about. Then as you continue working, you will face appraisals, you will be eligible for promotions, you will want to grow in your job. And remember, when you are in a situation where you're going for appraisal or you're thinking about a promotion, remember to differentiate your needs from the needs of the employer, because while they may be in tandem, they may not exactly be the same. And if you're not aware of the difference, sometimes it can cause a bit of problem for you to negotiate your way up the ladder like you would wish. So on this point, remember that your employer is interested in your productivity. So how you work, the output of your work, the feedback they get from clients, from your colleagues at work, and how generally the bottom line of that company or that enterprise is going. That is their number one consideration. And for you as an employee, it may be some employees focus on productivity as well. They want to be excellent, they want to be the best, But some employees don't. Some employees are in it for the money, and that is okay. Now, you need to be clear in your mind that if you are in it for the money, then you may not be in tandem with your employer 100% all the time. Because for them, the productivity is what is number one. And so, as you wish to get more money, maybe a pay rise, maybe a promotion, maybe an advantage at the workplace, the entry point, the best entry point for you is the area that is of importance to your employer, which is the productivity. And so this simply put means that if you want to get more money, then you have to work harder, produce more, and automatically then the money flows. But not the vice versa, because sometimes if you confuse, then you may find that you have stagnated and you think this is unfair to you, but it's because you're putting the cart before the horse, as they say. Because remember, hard times affect everyone. If the economy is bad, it's affecting everyone, right from the company, the management, board of directors, the shareholders, and you as the employer. So as the employee. So if you think of the hard times, incorporate everyone in that economy. And that way then you can appeal better if you interact and talk about these issues with them, because they will feel that you have them in your mind. You have not excluded them and you're just thinking about yourself, which will be a disadvantage for you, especially when you're engaging in appraisals or in discussions about promotions and such things. Lastly, I would like to mention about exit, because the employment cycle is you apply, you interview, you get the job, you do it, you get promoted, and you may resign, you may die, you may transfer to another place. So when you want to exit an employment, please exit in a good way. I've seen young people, particularly the Gen Zs, like I said, sometimes they appear to be in a haste. And this haste shows through even the employment cycle, so that when they are working now at Fountain of Hope, for example, where I am now, and they find a better opportunity somewhere else, some of them think that they can just leave today. So as they are interviewing the other place and they are asked, when are you available? They say now, because they've seen that the pay is better the other side. And they feel like they can just leave. But remember, there's a contract that you have signed. A contract is a legal document, and it can bog you down if you do not respect it. Remember, employers cross-reference. They call to check background checks. They even check social media pages nowadays of employees. And so if you are going to be in a haste to leave just because you've gotten another opportunity, and you do silly things like not respecting the provisions of resignation, you're supposed to give a notice, wait for some time, serve that period as your employer prepares to replace you. If you're not going to respect that, then it can be a problem. I've seen extreme cases where some Gen Zs even resign by sending an SMS or on WhatsApp. And some of them just abscond and switch off their phones. And you wonder, how long are you going to be switching off your phone? When you write this as a SMS, do you think you have cancelled the contract you have? I had an interesting case here, for example. A nurse who was working with us and got an opportunity somewhere else, and this nurse just left in the evening at around 4 p.m., like he was going to the shops and just disappeared. Later on, we find out he's left his job. So, okay, we continue. Fast forward, about a month later, we get a call from that employer. He had gone to check. And we tell the employer, in fact, you are holding someone who we are looking for, and you need to release them. Otherwise, we will join you to the case that we are taking to court for breach of contract. The short of the story is that this nurse lost the job wherever they went and could not come back here. There's another one who left also and got a job to go abroad to work in England or something. And now for the reference checks, they send those letters for reference to the former employers, and they come to me and he realizes that they are there. So now he comes pleading, no, Dr. BMS, oh, please just write for me a good reference. This is my chance. I know I made a mistake, but now just forgive me. I've learned my lesson. Avoid these pitfalls. Do not be in a haste, because if you tell your employer that you've gotten another job, most of the employers, I would say 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 will be happy for you. They will let you go. They will give you a good appraisal, because on the one hand, they know that people must enter a job and leave, but also they know that as you go into a new place, they're expanding their networks. Now, I know someone who was working with me and is in another organization. If I go there, at least I know someone. I'm not a total stranger, and that's a plus for me. So see this as a win-win for you and for the company, and present it that way so that you live in a good way and you get the blessings and the facilitation that you need to do your job, instead of having your feet cut from underneath because you did the wrong thing. I think I will stop at that point for today. And as usual, I wish the Gen Zs who I'm addressing today the best. Times are hard, jobs are scarce, people are looking, many, the chances are few, but that little that you get is a good starting point, because the sky is the limit. So look at where you're going and start somewhere. It's not the destination, it's the starting point, and soon you'll be in that big place, and we hope you get there when you are better. I made a previous video, you can look for it, this channel, where I said you'll not get better at the next job. You have to be good here and better in the next and best. So don't postpone your good behavior, your good habits, because your job here is not really what you want. Use it as a starting point and get better as you move to the next job. See you again in the next video, and share this message widely with other friends of yours who are looking for jobs. If it resonates well with you, consider subscribing to our channel, Dr. BMS, so that we keep this discussion going. We nourish our bodies, our minds, and our souls, Dr. BMS style.